Good morning, everyone. I'm going to give everybody about 1 more minute to jump in, and then we'll get started this morning. If you haven't grabbed yourself a cup of coffee or tea, go ahead. Now might be a good time. I know we have ours here.
I had to drink tea today just for this. Lemon verbena. It's still a little warm. Couple more dropping in here. Nice.
All right, let's get started. So again, good morning, everybody. I'm Melinda Aiken. I'm the marketing manager and account manager here at SiteSeeker. And today I have with me my colleague, Tom Armitage. He is a team lead and account manager here at SiteSeeker as well. We know that there's some uncharted waters during this pandemic that we're all experiencing and going through. So our team has put together some marketing tips that will hopefully help you and your business during the coronavirus crisis that we're unfortunately all going through right now. So we've put together some tips. We encourage you guys to ask some questions. I also want you to know that this is being recorded. So afterwards, we will share this with you and you can feel free to share it with others that you may feel it will be useful. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom.
Thanks, Melinda. I originally had a dress shirt on and then Melinda said that we should be twins, so I had to go and change. And now we're matching and we're twinsies. So we've been doing a lot of research over the past couple of weeks since the coronavirus crisis really began to take hold and affect a lot of businesses in many different ways. So we've been collaborating, we've been really digging into our analytics, and what we've really uncovered is our partners and what's going out there in terms of digital marketing. We're all being affected in a different way. We have some partners who are dramatically up in terms of their traffic and dramatically up in terms of their conversions. I think one of our partners had the best month they've ever had over the past 30 days, which is kind of crazy to think about. And some are obviously seeing dramatic dips in both traffic and conversion. So we prepare these 5 tips that we believe are really great and good for most businesses that are trying to really get through these challenging times right now. So we're not going through a slide deck. This is going to be informal, more discussion and conversation based. And we are going to follow up after this, so you have a recording of the video as well as a full article that we've prepared around these 5 topics with some more in-depth information. And feel free to share that with your colleagues, friends, partners, social media channels, and we can get the word out there and help educate more people. So the other thing too is feel free to jump in with any questions that you have directly inside of the GoToWebinar chat area, and we'll kind of address questions as we come. We don't necessarily need to wait until the end, especially since we're only allotting 30 minutes for this, so you guys can jump in at any point and ask any questions that you have. So the 5 items that we've identified are really of the utmost importance right now are on your screen, and we'll start with really the most basic, and that's updating your channels and providing updates to your customers and your buyers across all the different channels. And this seems so logical and so basic, but so many businesses right now are confused. They're running ragged. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's going on. They're trying to take care of a lot of the finances and a lot of things that are really crippling their businesses right now. So in some ways, I think these basic updates are being overlooked, but you have to accommodate the current customers that are really going to be loyal to your business and be providing and supporting you during this time, right? So there's a lot of channels that you should be taking advantage of to get the word out there, because you aren't really sure how they're going to be approaching you or how they're going to be finding you. So the ones that we seem to, really identify as the most important, you have email as a form of communication, right? You have updating your homepage and your homepage banner. We see a lot of value in pop-ups because that not everybody is entering your site directly on the homepage. We have some partners who only have 40–50% of people coming through their homepage, and the rest are coming direct, further down the funnel, further down onto the product pages on the site. So a pop-up is a great way to make sure that 100% of the people are seeing a very important message that you want to communicate to the visitors coming to your site. Social media obviously is really important. Not only posts, but pinning the post. That way when people come and check your Facebook page, they're seeing that important post first right there on the page. We've seen some partners regularly updating their banner images with the most important message that they want to communicate, so that way when you come to that page, it's front and center. It's the first thing that you see. Local listings, the Google My Business page, if you are on Yelp, TripAdvisor, if you're a more B2C company, and your Facebook hours. Adjusting those hours to make sure that they're relevant based on any changes that have happened because of the coronavirus, really important, so that way they don't think that you're open when you're not, or vice versa. And Google has an updated ability now to be able to create posts and have them stored right underneath your local My Business information, and we found a lot of value in that as well. So the last thing I'll mention too is internal communication. All of your staff members, everyone on your team, are going to be talking to their friends, families, and people are going to be looking to them for updates around the company that they work for. So regardless of if you guys only are working for a company with 20, 30 people, hundreds of people, or thousands of people, having your employees with the right information and informing them of all the updates that are taking place inside of your four walls is going to be really important, because they're going to help disseminate the messages as well. So that could be formal emails going out to the team. It can be internal project management tools, or something like Slack if you guys use an internal instant messaging system, but making sure that your team is constantly informed with the updates taking place across your business. So that's number one. If you guys have any questions on that one, jump in, and I'll just keep rolling to number two.
I'll add to that. I'm going to add to that, Tom.
Good, I can take a sip of tea.
Great. I know that internally our team gets together virtually for lunch, right? So that's another idea. We share what's going on. We don't always talk business, but that's a time that we can get together. You can still feel that unity within your company. And as Tom has said before, internally, we all have four walls, but we're in the different four walls, but we can bring that together, and we can do that virtually. So, that's another way of communicating with your team these days that is something you guys can also take advantage of.
Definitely. Yeah, our lunches are a lot more fun now. So number two is probably the one that it's probably one that's the most labor intensive. So you need to be digging into your analytics, and you need to be looking at how your business is currently being affected through the lens of marketing, right? So we suggest starting with Google Analytics. That's our preferred tracking and reporting tool of choice. You need to see what your traffic numbers look like, if people are coming into your site differently than they were before, what conversions are like, and if they're up, if they're down, if they're up from certain channels or certain campaigns, or from certain referral sources, and why that might be. Looking at your social media data and seeing how things have changed prior to the coronavirus period and through up until today during the coronavirus period. We've indicated the date range that we've been looking at for when things really began to turn is February 22nd. I think that's when the market started to change, and Trump, around the time when Trump was making the announcements for getting involved in Congress beginning to spend in different ways. So February 22nd to March 22nd is kind of the period that we're looking at as the coronavirus period. And you're always going to want to be comparing that to the time period before to see if there's been any dips or growth, and year over year as well, which kind of eliminates seasonality that might have taken place during the December through January and through early February period. So looking at your analytics, studying it, examining it, and reviewing it to see what's taking place, and more important, why. Actually sitting down and thinking through why these things might have taken place is really important. From there, after you have the learning, then you're going to put some of those learnings into play, right? And I want to focus right now on advertising, because what's a beautiful thing about advertising is in this period right now where we're kind of feel like we've lost control and there's variables that we might not understand, advertising is a way that we can kind of gain back control. We can dictate the spend, we can dictate the creative, we can dictate the messaging, we can dictate where in the placement and who's seeing those ads. So we have a lot of control when it comes to advertising, and it's a way we can kind of offset some of the dips that we might be seeing across organic, direct, or referral sources, right? So when we're thinking about advertising, keep in mind that this could be a time period where you might want to be investing in awareness-based ads. So CPM type of ads, image-based, video-based ads, which aren't necessarily driving conversions right now. Because if you're in an industry where people just are kind of holding on to their wallets and their purses and they might not be buying now, it isn't necessarily a waste of dollars if you're doing awareness-based ads to increase your brand visibility. Because what may happen is once things normalize after this period, there's going to be a greater sense of familiarity with your brand because of all this advertising work and all this other work that you might be doing within your marketing program. So that way they're ready to pull the trigger, and they're going to pull the trigger more easily around purchases for your brand after that period. So keep in mind your image-based, your display, and your video-based ads during this this period. Second, I'll mention search campaigns. I'd be really hard pressed to think that your search ads are completely the same as they were before this period, whether they've gone up or whether they've gone down in terms of your clicks, click-through rates, your conversions, conversion rates. I'd have to say there probably is changes taking place. Hopefully it's for the positive. But if it's for the negative, take a look and see what may be different now than it was before. Are you getting more success from certain keywords? Do you need to analyze more closely the negative keywords that you need to add so your ads aren't showing for certain search queries? Do you need to adjust your targeting? Do you need to adjust your budget and your spend? If you find that there's more success coming from certain keywords or certain targeting parameters, you're gonna want to double down around those efforts. So let's say you have more traffic coming in from mobile, and this seems to be really prevalent across most of our partners right now. And we're assuming it's because more people are remote, more people are working from home, and more people are working odd hours because of the circumstances. So we've even seen mobile increase as much as, what, Melinda, 50, 60, 65% for a lot of the partners that we've been examining closely. So that's a really good tip off for you to put time and effort into mobile optimization. You want to make sure your site, and especially the landing pages that you're driving people to, are optimized for mobile. Font size, buttons, shorter forms, click to call so they can engage with you over the phone and not just rely on the form. There's a lot of marketing optimization best practices that you should put forth so that way you can take advantage of the increase in traffic coming from mobile devices. Then on top of that, inside of Google or whatever platform you're running your ads out of, you can upbid and make the ads preferred on mobile devices so that way you're getting even more mobile traffic if you believe that the conversion rates are going to be high amongst that mobile audience. And the last thing I'll mention is social media ads. This is a great place to play right now. It's a little bit more expensive. Research is showing that cost is trending up during this period because more people are taking advantage of it to kind of break through the clutter and the noise of all the organic posts and updates that brands are making. So you got to be mindful of the budget and the spend and how you're applying those dollars. But because there is so much noise, it just warrants even more the necessity for putting some dollars behind some of these posts to make sure that your messages are being seen and being seen by the right audience. If you have multiple audiences that you deal with and some of them are just in a spending freeze, then stop those campaigns and reallocate those dollars to the audiences that don't necessarily have those type of preventions right now. So I would definitely say to keep moving forward, adjust as needed your spend and your targeting, but both your Google ads, your search ads, your awareness-based ads, and your Facebook and your social ads are going to be a really great place to play right now. Anything else, Melinda, on that one?
No, I think that was good.
She said, "Don't put me on the spot if you finish a thought." Okay, I'll keep going here. The third one we have is AI, artificial intelligence, and this isn't new. This is something that a lot of businesses and brands have been implementing in recent years, but we're still seeing some smaller and medium-sized companies really being sluggish on pulling the trigger on implementing these AI type of software. So there's really three things that I want to focus on within this one: live chat, chatbots on social, and email automation. So from a live chat standpoint, I have to assume that there's some businesses out there that are laying off workers, right? We're seeing it firsthand, friends, family. We're seeing it out there in the news. So if that's the case for any of your businesses, there's probably more work and more burden being put on you guys that are still maintaining your positions and maintaining your jobs. So with that being said, you need to find efficiencies in managing requests that are coming in. On top of that, if you do implementation during this period, when things go back to normal, hopefully you see an influx in requests that are coming in through the website. And if you already have live chat set up, it can help better manage those requests that are coming in. So live chat is obviously that bubble that appears on as a slide in on the site, and people can engage in a very low barrier form. It's usually name, email, sometimes company, and then begin a chat that takes place directly with a bot or a human being. And what you can do is automate it so there's frequently asked questions that you store inside of the system, so that way common questions are being responded to by the bot, and then once you get to a certain point within that conversation, it then flips over to a member on the human team. So it can be highly efficient and an effective tool to use in order to better manage the requests that are coming in and make sure that everyone is being attended to in a really quick and timely fashion. Number 2, or letter B, however we want to call that, a lot of people are using social media to engage with your brand. That's not new, but there's so many questions that are being out there right now because there's so much confusion that they're going to Facebook and they're going to other social media channels, engaging in direct message conversations to ask questions to figure out what's going on with your company and your brand. So you can do the same thing like you've done for live chat, or like you're going to do for live chat. You can do the same thing through social media bots, which also handle frequently asked questions, and then it could turn you over to human once that conversation has run its course. So it's really just making sure that there's efficiency behind the communication between end user and brand or business. And then letter C is email automation. I don't even necessarily mean like really sophisticated drip campaigns that last for months at a time, over the course of an entire buyer's journey or the buying cycle. Even just some things as simple as automated emails that go out after a form is filled, or after somebody's downloaded a piece on your an important piece on your website, or after a video view, behavior that they've done on your site. Trigger automated emails that go out for an additional touch point, and that can carry some extra weight because they can forward those emails, they can come back to you later on, and it just helps reinforce the connection between you and that end user. So again, live chat, social media chat bots, and email automation are things that you can be doing and setting up right now. And there may be a little research that you need to do in order to figure out which tools that you want to use. So take this time and do that research and take this time to implement, so that way you're ready to go during this period, or the later part of this period, and afterwards as well. And the tools that we've used are live chat. It's actually called live chat. It's the name of the software. It's the most popular one out there. And for chat bots, we use Sprout Social for our social media management. That has a built-in chat bot feature, but also Mobile Monkey is a really popular one as well, that was started by Larry Kim, who's a very bright entrepreneur.
I would say too, Tom, with live chat and any chatbot on social media, whatever is installed, another insight that you can get is, are there common questions that your audience is asking? Should you create content, or should you put something on your website? Because if people are interacting and have a couple of questions that are common, you may find that it would be good to send an email to your email list that addresses the commonly asked questions. And they always say, if one person's asking, 4 other people are thinking it. So you can also take insight, not just to have it on your websites and within your social media channels, but then you can take that information that's being asked and make better use of it and create content to serve your audience as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Melinda. That's great. Let's keep moving here, since we got only about 10 minutes. Number 4, be where your customers are. We've begun to see a lot of brands taking advantage of this and doing a really nice job with it. So what we mean by this is really another 2-prong one. Taking advantage of print media as well as virtual media or virtual communications. So let's talk about print for a second. We know that everyone is working remotely, or not everyone, but a good amount of people, especially in the B2B world, are working remotely, and a lot of times that means working from home. So print can be a really great way to cut through the chaos and the clutter that exists inside of the digital world right now and get directly inside, literally physically inside of the homes of these buyers. So you can reallocate some dollars that you might be pulling away from certain digital forms of media and media buy and allocate it towards print. And what's great is if you invest in variable printing through a printing agency, you can customize, you can personalize, and you can set it up so that way it connects to the online experience through custom URLs and custom landing pages. So that way you're tracking the physical document, whatever it is that they're seeing, straight through into the digital world and through the behavior that exists inside of their digital path. So you definitely want to get creative. You don't want to be sending junk mail. I'm never an advocate for that. But if you can get creative, send something that's unique, that makes sense for your user base, and you customize it in a way where it can be tracked with your other digital efforts. I think that's a really great way right now, especially since they're inside of their homes, to really get in front of them. The part B here is connecting with them virtually. So we've seen a lot of our partners, some that are probably on this call right now, that have had to step back and not be attending trade shows, right? A lot of trade shows, probably every trade show at this point, I'd have to assume, had to kind of pause their efforts and or cancel their events. So people and businesses aren't able to take advantage as attendees, as sponsors, or as speakers. So really, really great way is to take that into the digital world and have these experiences that are virtual. It could be sessions or webinars, just like we're doing right now, and invite people virtually to attend and educate and inform, just like this. If you're more B2C, if you can do, if you're a food and beverage company, you can do taste testings or tasting parties. You can do product demos, hands-on product demos where you explain and review your products, or just talk about your services. There's a lot of ways to just set up your webcam and really connect with your end users in a virtual way, and definitely take advantage of video as much as possible. We know that you probably don't have the equipment that you do back at the office. You don't have your videographer or some of your team members who would normally carry out your video production, but do as best as you can. Right now, people understand, your end users understand, and they know that being in communication with them is going to be the most important thing. You can't really sacrifice at this point not engaging until this thing ends, especially if the reports are true that this could last for several more months. You just can't halt all of your marketing advertising efforts. It just can't be done. So you got to get creative, and you got to think through ways that you can still connect with your target audience based on the environment that we have right now.
And we had a question too, or a comment. Print is slow and this situation is changing quickly. Yes, print can be. With the print on demand nowadays, things can be turned around quite quickly, and there are mail houses that you can say, I want to reach a certain age group, in a certain income group, in a certain zip code. And I would say, as long as your message and you continue to, you create that message that you want to have from now until, everything is over and beyond, right? We want to create authenticity. We want to make sure that you stick to your core values of who you are, who your business is. If you have a community because you're a certain industry that brings people together, it can be a piece around that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be pushing the product, but again, staying top of mind, having a tone that will resonate with your customers or with potential customers that you're looking to hit in their home. So again, it's just being where your customers are, and conveying that message of almost, I think where everybody's turning is, we're here, right? We want to make sure that we're supportive in these times and that we're here for one another. So I would say, yes, print may not be something that we would immediately think to right now, but in the digital world, like Tom was saying before, I feel that we have to be very good, and we have to make sure that we're not getting lost in the clutter of emails, and another touch point could be that print piece.
Definitely, yeah. Making sure it's evergreen beyond this situation is important, so that way it has more longevity and can provide value over time instead of just tomorrow. Okay, number 5, the last one, and it's my favorite one, and it's taking advantage of the downtime that may exist right now across all of our calendars and schedules. So what we're recommending is schedule, write, and learn. So let's talk about scheduling for a second. Something that is oftentimes a bit intimidating is scheduling out your social media posts and scheduling out your email campaigns in advance. A lot of people I've talked to at best are scheduling out their posts, 2 to 3 weeks in advance, which is good. But if you have time right now and you have resources and you can get content scheduled out further in advance than that, even 6 to 8 months right now, because you have the time to do it, then I would recommend doing it. As long as it's evergreen material, it's material that is still going to be relevant, throughout this period, then certainly get a jump on it and get that content production underway so you can get that material queued out, and then you don't have to worry about it. You can focus on taking advantage of hopefully the economy booming once this whole thing comes to an end. Email campaign, same way. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to queue out when emails are going out, writing the emails, and providing the supporting content that you might be driving those folks to who are seeing those emails. So map out what that plan looks like from a social and email standpoint, and get all of that underway so you can not have to worry about that in the future. You do want to save some, some pockets and some days. Don't schedule out 100% of it. There's going to be things that are going to, come about, whether inside of your business or externally, that you're going to want some leeway to have some real-time updates. So I'd say probably schedule 75, 85% of it out and save some, 15, 20% for new and timely things that are taking place over the next 8 months. Also, on the note of social, spending this time for influencer research is really, really important. It's something that gets put off on so many brands and businesses' plates because it's labor intensive. To find the influencers in your fields who you can actually build relationships with, who can do product or service reviews, who can blog about you, who can talk about you on social, who can give you your company reviews. Finding these people is tough. You have to do digging, you have to do Google searching, you have to do searching inside of Instagram, on LinkedIn, you have to do reading, possibly social listening tools, media monitoring tools. There's work that needs to be done. There isn't a free, easy solution out there to identify these folks. But the brands who have identified their top social influencers, who've built relationships, and sometimes even a pay-for-play type of relationship where they're paying for product reviews or for posts or for articles, it can make a big difference. And this is a time, if you do have downtime, in order to take advantage and do that labor-intensive research and have those players in the field identified for you to build influencer marketing relationships with later on. B, I keep forgetting if I'm doing letters or numbers with these things. B, write. There's so much writing that needs to be done in marketing today, whether it's articles, blogs, white papers, video scripts, social media captions, podcasts, whatever it is that you are going to take advantage of inside of your marketing program, whether now or later, you can do that writing now because you're home. And if your kids are there, it might be a little crazy, but if you don't have kids there, it's a really good time to focus, and you can get a lot of this writing done without some of the distractions that take place when you're normally in the office. So I highly recommend identifying what pieces need to be written and just going to work and getting your hands dirty and putting pen to pad and getting those pieces finished. And then finally, learning. There's so much learning that should take place, just like you guys are doing right now and watching this webinar and what's going on as a result of coronavirus, but just in general, what trends are taking place, what new software is available to help you guys do your jobs with digital marketing today. A lot of times we sign up for these email marketing newsletters and we get them and we're so busy that we bookmark them or we set them aside into our read for later archive folder or whatnot, and we forget to come back to them because we're so busy. So take this time to really get caught back up to speed on everything that you really should be in the know of inside of marketing, inside of the verticals where your brands and businesses exist. So that summarizes the 5 key points. We'll end up sending out the full article on this as well as recording the video. Please share that with your colleagues, your friends, and those within your social media networks. And wow, we did this pretty good, exactly 30 minutes, Melinda.
Yeah, we have one last question coming in. Will we be providing ideas on how to organize and start a plan for a marketing relaunch after these issues slow down and the economy rebounds?
Yeah, definitely. We're working with our leaders and our management team. We're trying to come up with some really good resources for not only our current partners, but also other folks who may have questions out there in order to help you guys understand how you may have been impacted, but more so what your strategy should be like moving forward to capitalize on things coming back to normalcy. So in short, the answer is yes. We're still trying to figure out what the best questions are to help get that information, out of you and prepare a customized, productive plan for you after this settles down.
Right. And as you said before, now's the time to take advantage of time that you may have that you may not have had if business was as normal. So reevaluating your marketing strategy and planning, because once the economy does rebound and once we do open those doors again, I think it's very important that if you're ready with a marketing plan, it's kind of like the early bird gets the worm scenario, right? If you're ready to go to market and you have everything in line and all you have to do is kind of flip that switch, you're going to be in the best place possible, as opposed to saying, okay, everything's opening up tomorrow, we're hearing word of it, and trying to scramble to get something put together. So I would definitely be proactive, and we will have resources out there. So continue to follow along, and we'll try to continue to do these webinars as well. So be on the lookout for that. If there's something that you would like us to touch on the next time, please feel free. We have our email addresses here, and I know that I had them in the invitation as well. So please connect with Tom and I, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions, either individually or, again, collectively in a future webinar.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye guys.